Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well today. Hope it's been a great week. I know for me, it's been a kind of an up and down week for me. Just man, this new career as an entrepreneur is man. I'm so thankful for it. Like I really truly am so thankful that it's happening. And at the same time, it's pretty hard. It's hard work. It's not just I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna post some stuff and I'm gonna say some things and man, people are gonna wanna connect. I mean, it's not like that. It is a grind and man, I love to work hard. And so what's been fun is working hard and continuing to find out, God, what do you have for me in this season? What exactly is it that you want me to do? And this week he has been continuing to chisel away at what it is that I do. Because people have asked, like, so what do you do? And I'm gonna walk through that. I'm actually making a video of what coaching is, and you can watch that on YouTube here pretty soon, just to help people understand what it is. But man, just as a little part of my journey. So I started and I got my certification in business coaching, which is awesome, with the Business Made Simple coaching plan with Donald Miller. And man, it's so good. It's really, really good stuff. And then God's like, no, I don't. And you guys were like, no, I don't know if you're a business coach. And I was like, well, I'm a health and fitness coach. And, I'm kind of was looking at that and going all in with that. But as I've gotten clients and as I've started to talk to people, I've learned it's not just about health and fitness. It's not just about your business, man. It's about who we are in Christ. And that is my jam. When I can talk to somebody about their relationship with the Lord and how that affects their mental and how that affects their physical and how that affects everything else, that has been so good for me. And I've had people contact me saying, "Hey, could you talk to my teenager who is really battling with some depression?" And when I talk to them, man, it's neat to see what is coming up. It's neat to see that the it's neat to see that it's not just about the depression. It's not just about poor eating habits. Man, it's about our relationship with the Lord. And it's been so fun to kind of get my path and my niche and what am I doing onto the right place, because truly I want to be a Christian life coach. I want to coach people who are goal oriented to be able to hit and grow in their walk with the Lord. And that's going to uncover so many things, both from our past and to where we're going. The difference in a coach and a counselor is a counselor focuses a ton on the past, which is so good, which is where I've been hanging out and in my counseling sessions. And a coach, for me, I'm kind of both. Man, I'm looking a little bit back, but more future, and how we can move on from some of those things and how we can give it to the Lord. And so, man, being a life coach for goal-oriented Christians is my jam. That's where it's at. And God is really showing me that. I believe that the enemy really tried to get me off track with so many different things, and that's part of it. That's part of starting a business, is you're just kind of figuring it out and you're just going. I watched a deal by Elon Musk and they said, "So what's your business plan?" Elon Musk said, "Man, I don't really have a business plan because I failed so many times, and that's how I'm doing it." And man, that's how I feel. I feel like that. I'm just seeing what sticks and seeing what's happening. And the greatest thing is that with the people that are currently in that I am coaching and working with, I get feedback from them, and I'm just saying, "Man, what do you think?" And they're helping me out, and I'm calling them the founders. And if you would like to be part of that group of people that are kind of meet with me each week, and I'm helping them and they're really helping me figure out the direction, and we're seeing massive life change with them, man, let me know. Let me know. Just put founder send me a message, say founder, or put it in the comments, and I'll get back to you and kind of talk to you about what that looks like. Well, I really want to share with you what God has been showing me in the Bible today. And Matthew 26. And if you're watching this and you can, get a Bible out or open it up on Google, man, I encourage you to go to Matthew 26. This is so huge today. It's so huge for our lives. And in Matthew 26, verse 36, this is in the Garden of Gethsemane. And what's so great about this is that we see Jesus in this garden. And man, I've been to the Garden of Gethsemane, and it is awesome. It is beautiful. It is peaceful, and you'll see what happens when you get into a peaceful place. And man, I've almost fallen asleep there. We went there on a Israel trip. Had the opportunity to go with Passion City Church, which was so incredible. And when we went there, we actually had time to pray in the garden, and man, it was so peaceful. But I want to show you what Jesus does here in Matthew 26, verse 36 through 46, 10 verses. Hang with me. Then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." So he took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. So right there in that moment, I want you to think about Jesus is in the garden. He knows what's coming, and he brings the 12, but then he narrows it down. Well, he brings 11. One of them is out causing issues, named Judas. So he brings the 11, and then he says, "You three come with me." So like the inner circle. So you have a circle, the big group of 11. Then he brought his inner circle with him. And those three were his closest disciples. And he says, and he starts to be sorrowful and troubled. And in verse 38, he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." Man, let's just hang out there for a second in verse 38. My soul. This is Jesus telling his disciples that his soul is overwhelmed. You ever been there before? You ever been overwhelmed before? Overwhelmed so much with sorrow to the point of death, to where you're just so sad and you're so upset and you're so all the things that you're just like, what the only thing, it's just, and you can't even think, and sorrow to the point of death, to where you just can't go anymore. We see Jesus saying this right here, Jesus Christ. And so I want you to know that you're not alone when you have those feelings. You're not alone whenever you feel the sadness. You're not alone when you're in the depths of overwhelm. But look what Jesus says, "Stay here and keep watch with me." Going a little further, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed. And look what he prayed. "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." Man, I love that. He is saying, "God, please take this." And he's in the Message version says, "My Father, if there's any way to get me out of this, but please, not what I want. What do you want?" Woo! Not what I want, but what do you want? He's overwhelmed with so much sorrow. This is Jesus Christ. And he's saying, "Lord, if there's a way to get me out of this, but please, not what I want. What do you want?" And we're in the sadness, and sometimes we're in the stuff, and we're in the confusion, and we're in the chaos, and we're praying out to the Lord, like, save me, help me, get me out of this. Or maybe you're praying for a friend or a loved one or a family member or a spouse, and like just praying for him. Look what he says, though, at the end of 39. "Yet not as I will, but as you will." He's saying, if that's not your will right now, I trust you. Do we trust him whenever we're in it? Do we trust him? Do we truly trust him whenever we are in the midst of that pain and in the midst of that sorrow? In verse 40, he returned to his disciples, his closest disciples, the three. He said, "Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour?" He asked Peter. He went straight to Peter. And then verse 41, "Watch and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And that right there is so true for every single one of us. The spirit is so willing, but the flesh is weak, man. The spirit wants to do what's right. The spirit wants to overcome. The spirit wants to stop, with that sin that you continue to do all the time. The spirit wants to confess things to your spouse. The spirit wants to all these things, but the flesh is weak, man. we got to know that. And so how do we overcome that? How do we overcome the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak? Here's how we overcome it. What you feed the most wins. What are you going to feed the most? If we feed our flesh the most, then it's going to win. If we feed the spirit the most, it's going to win. So how do we feed the spirit? Stay tuned, because we're going to get to that at the very end of this. How do we feed the spirit versus the flesh more? Because what we feed the most wins, because the flesh is so weak. In verse 42, so he went away a second time. He went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done." Again, he's saying, man, may your will be done. In verse 43, while he came back, he found them again sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went away once more and prayed the third time, saying the same thing. Hey, Randy, I see you, bro. You see what we're talking about on here. I know you love this. Come on, my man. When he came back, he found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went away one more time and prayed. In verse 45, he returned to his disciples and he said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come. The Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, exclamation point. Let's go, exclamation point. Here comes my betrayer." So how do we feed the spirit more than the flesh? How do we do that? You know, we can go to church and you can check the box of going to church, and you can check the box of serving, you can check the box of doing all the right things, but still there's something going on in your mind. There's something going on that is just not connecting. Here's what it is. That 1 hour a week that you're going to church is never going to be enough for you to truly know the Lord. That 1 hour a week, it's good, great, go, awesome, I do it. Was a pastor for 22 years. Loved people coming in for that 1 hour. But I loved even more when those people would come for that 1 hour, and that 1 hour was just a part of their daily, weekly schedule. We can't just show up and think that we're feeding the spirit whenever we're showing up to church and just doing it 1 hour, when the rest of our life looks like utter hell. And I want to encourage you. How do we get over the overwhelm? How do we do those things? How do we overcome the fleshly things that come up? How do we overcome those things? Is only with Jesus Christ. That's it. That is the only way that we can do it. Yes, therapy. Yes, coaching. Yes, counseling. And Jesus. Because when we feed the spirit wins. What you feed the most wins. If I got two dogs, they're about to have a dog fight. I know it's illegal. Maybe, I don't even know. But if I got two dogs, I'm going to go with the dog that ate the most, because that dog is going to be full. It's going to be ready. It's going to be muscular. It's going to be versus the dog that's not eating anything. And so what are you feeding the most? The spirit or the flesh? It's not just going to a Bible study. What are you doing post the Bible study? It's not just waking up and spending time with the Lord once a week. No, that's good. But man, the consistent habits that we start with the Lord, that's what it's about. And here's what I see Jesus saying: rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer. Here's what he's saying. It's time to get up. It's time to go. Why? Because the enemy wants to get us. The enemy is on his way. The enemy is here. And the same is true with us. The enemy wants to destroy us. He is coming after us. He wants to kill you. He is coming. So what should we do? We need to get up. We need to go. I say, let's go a lot. Let's go. Let's go. I know a lot of people say it. I know it's like a popular thing. But here's what I think when I say let's go. Let's go. We got stuff to do. Let's go. We got to get with the Lord. Let's go. God has called us to take a step. He has called us to go after it. And where are we going? We're going to the cross. Every single day, where are we going? Rise. Let's go to the cross. That's exactly where they're going right here. They're going right into the next verse is Jesus is arrested, and then he's on his way to the cross. And so I want to encourage you today, wherever you're at, how do you deal at times with the overwhelm? How do you deal with the stress? How do you deal with these things? Is you got to go to the cross. First, you've got to get up. And then you've got to go. And where do you go? You go to the cross. The flesh is so weak. The spirit is willing. What do we feed the most? And today, take time. Just take a little bit of time and feed that spirit. You know, that just has been really speaking to me and a few of my clients this week. And man, I'm super thankful that God has shown me that through another friend, and just man, really what God is doing. And I've got just something I've been sharing on social media. I shared it yesterday, and I've shared it with some friends. But it is a protection prayer. And I don't know if sleeping is hard for you. I don't know if sleeping has been a struggle for you. I know for me, for years, I had night terrors and super restless nights, and man, I couldn't seem to rest, and I'd wake up in a panic, and my heart rate's at like 563, and I felt like I was in a war zone at times at night, and that comes from the PTSD and different traumas in my life, and it's gotten so much better, so much better. And what I'm learning and what I'm seeing and what I've experienced myself is this prayer of protection has truly helped me to be able to rest at night. And the night terrors have almost gone away. Now they still happen, and they're still horrible, and my wife still laughs at me, which is awful. But I want to give you this tool, and I've put it in the description of right here for you guys. It's in the links. There's a link in the description for you to grab this prayer. And I want to encourage you, man. Maybe you need to pray this over a spouse, or maybe you need to pray this over one of your kids, or maybe it's yourself. But I want to encourage you, grab this prayer. It is an amazing, amazing prayer that has helped me. There's nothing magical to it, but it's just worded so well that man, it's a simple way to overcome some of the night terrors and some of the restless nights that I've been having. And I know that can help so many more. I also want to get into what, a few questions that I ask people whenever I am coaching people. And I think it's important to look at this because coaching is something that really no one knows about. I mean, people know about it, but it's kind of my world right now, and it's really, really awesome and very helpful for a lot of people. And so I'm just going to ask some questions. If you have time to write these down, that would be great. But here's some questions that I would ask in a coaching session. And one of those questions is, today, what would it look like to parent yourself? Think about that. What would it look like today to parent yourself? And write that down. I would ask this question. Let's look at patterns. Let's look at a few patterns in our life. Where do you find yourself when you're in the best mood? What has just happened? When you are in the best mood, what created that? Was it a conversation you had? Was it work? Was it being with your family? What was it that has put you in your best mood? Next question. And write it down. What is a pattern that you find in your life that creates negativity? What is a pattern in your life that creates negativity? What is that pattern? And then I want you to think about this. How can you change that pattern? How can you change that pattern? And then what are patterns that need to shift in your life so that you can get rid of some of the negativity and some of those intrusive thoughts that come in? What are the patterns that need to shift? You know what those patterns are. If I was coaching with you, you'd be writing them down, and then I would ask you to share that with me. And you would walk through that pattern. And here's what's neat about it. It's not me telling you what to do. It's you actually uncovering the things to help set you free, because you know the patterns and you know the things in your life that you need to shift and you need to change. And so you have the opportunity to change it. And so I get to guide you in that process. And this question, what is one expectation that you need to let go of? Sometimes we have super high expectations for ourselves or for other people, and which leaves us disappointed. What's one expectation that you need to let go of? Write that down. Most of the time our brain is focused on the negative. Most of the time we're thinking, man, I could do better here. I could do better here. Man, I really need to change this. I need to fix this. And our mind just goes to that negative. And here's what I encourage you to do is when we can switch it to the Lord, when we can truly switch our thinking to Jesus, watch what happens. Watch what happens. Those negative thoughts and those intrusive things that come in. Even sometimes when we're talking and we'll be talking about something, and then you'll take it and be like, but it's just this. And you're excited about this and you're like, but I really can't do it. And your mind is saying that and your mouth is saying it. I think sometimes we need to take the but out of our language and out of what we're saying, and we need to add and. How about this? I need to start a new career and I'm going to do it in 6 months. Or I need to get a counselor and I'm going to make it happen. Because what we normally do is say, I want a new career, but I can't afford to quit. I need to go to counseling, but I don't know where to start. I want to be healthier, but my spouse isn't in. Or you could change it to, I want to be healthier spiritually, mentally, physically, and I'm going to write down 3 ways I can do that. You see how the shift happens? And so if I was talking to you, I would help you to uncover those things and those words. I mean, think about the words that you say and how you say it. Are they positive? Are they building you up? Or are they putting you down? Because, man, people hear that. People see that. That's why being around positive people fires me up. Man, I love it. Like, I love it. Because, man, they give me so much energy. Being around people who are negative, it's brutal. Like, come on, man. The tomb is empty. It's okay. It's okay. The tomb is empty. Like, oh, but you don't know my life. Well, I don't. I don't know your life, but man, I know my life. I know the things that I've come through. I know the places that I was. I know the hurt that I've experienced. I know the people that treated me bad. I know the abuse that has taken place. I know those things. And Jesus. Now it's a process that I got there. And through some of these patterns and some of these things that I've had the opportunity to change in my life, I'm able to help people see those things and see those patterns and change them. For me, a few days ago, I was really struggling. I was really struggling with this coaching. It's man, I would like to have more clients. I would like to start this. And I started having a real just attitude about it. And man, I talked to my coach. So I have a coach, also have a counselor. And I talked to my coach about this. And here's what she said was so great. She said, I've got to change it from a minimalist attitude to an abundant attitude and change my mindset and thinking on that. Because she's like, you're thinking that, this person or this person doesn't want to work with you, but there's billions of people in the world that want to work with you. You just got to get the word out. You got to get your messaging correct. You got to let people know. You got to get people in your email list. You've got to do things that show who you are, what you're about, and it needs to make sense. And she told me, Michael, whenever you can figure out truly who your target audience is, man, people are going to come. I mean, it was so encouraging. I was like, you're right. You're right. I'm not trying to reach a community that I live in. I'm trying to reach truly the world. And it helped me to come up with, man, I want to be a life coach for Christians, a Christian life coach for goal-oriented people. I don't want to work with people that have a negative, they're like, a victim mentality. I can't. I just can't. But if you are motivated and you are goal-oriented and you're a believer, man, I want to work with you. And that helped me to get rid of that minimalist mindset and go into an abundant mindset that God has something and someone in those people there for me. And so I want to encourage you with the same thing. Let's get out of the minimalist mindset and go into an abundant mindset, because Jesus Christ, man, he gives us abundant. He gives us everything we need, period. I mean, if he tells us that the flowers and the birds are going to be taken care of, we're going to be taken care of. Like there's no doubt he's going to take care of us, and he's done that for me, and he can do that for you. I would ask you one more question. I'll ask you a lot of questions in our session, but as we're meeting online and we're talking, or maybe you would like just to meet on the phone, and it's told at one of my clients, we don't do Zoom, we just talk on the phone, and it's awesome, super powerful. Or if you'd like to meet in person, if you live around where I live, that'd be great. I can do that as well. But here's the deal: what is one thing that you could do today that would be considered a success? What is one thing that you can do today that would be considered a success? Maybe it's read one page in a book. Whenever, for me, when I go to when I go to bookstores or even Hobby Lobby, I don't know why I said Hobby Lobby, Home Depot. When I go to Hobby Lobby, I want to leave quickly. You want me to go to have a panic attack? Send me to Hobby Lobby, and I don't know what season it is. There's so many great verses everywhere, and there's yarn and puzzles, and there's just a lot of things going on. That's Hobby Lobby. But when I go to Home Depot, or I go to Lowe's, or I go into a bookstore, I'm like a reader all of a sudden in the bookstore. I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy 27 books. I'm going to read 52 books a year. And then all of a sudden I get those books and they're home, and they're still, they're still piled up like crazy. Or you go to Home Depot, I'm like, I'm Bob the Builder today. I am actually going to build a house. I'm going to replumb my entire house. I have no idea how to do those things, but I get that feeling. And then what do? We buy the books, we buy the pipes, we do the stuff, and then we start to have guilt because we didn't do it. Well, here's what I encourage you today. What is one thing that you can do today that would be considered a success? Maybe possibly that's reading one page in a book. Maybe that is spending 30 quality minutes with one of your children. Maybe that's planning a date to go on with your spouse, and you plan that date. And now remember, it's not about, yes, I'll do it, but no, it's, yeah, I'll do it, and here's how. Here's how I'm gonna tackle it. Here's how I'm gonna spend more time. Here's how I'm gonna read that one page of that book. And that's a success for you. Praise the Lord. That is awesome. And that's also what I enjoy. If I was coaching you, I would encourage you in that one small step. It's not about taking the big step. It's the one small step, and those small steps add up over time. If we take large steps, and what happens is, like if you say, I want to go run a half marathon, and you've never even ran a 5K, or you've never even ran 2 miles, you're going to end up hurting yourself. You'll finish the half marathon, and you'll never run again. You'll never run again. Or I'm going to read one book a month for the next year. Awesome. But if you've not read a book in the previous year, how about you just read one book right now? And set those smaller successes so they add up to bigger ones. Think about this right now. Think about this. Think about where you want to be in the next year. So when I say that, what comes up? Where do you want to be right now next? If I were to call you and say, hey, you, how you doing? And you were to talk to me, what would you tell me? You'd be like, hey, man, I'm doing this and this and this and this. Okay, for me, if I'm calling me or you're calling me, here's what I want to say. Man, I've got 20 clients. My YouTube channel has 1,000 subscribers. God is moving deeply in the lives of people. The enemy has tried to take me down this year with many different things because he knew the impact that I'm going to have in people's lives and the impact that those people are going to have in other people's lives. And he has not won. And it is incredible. That's a year from right now. From right now, that's what I'm going to say. What are you going to say when I call you? What are you going to say? Now, do the small steps to get there. And you'll get there. I believe it. Man, this is exactly what a coaching session would look like with Michael. I do a lot less talking. You would do a lot more talking. It's more the client is leading the discussion. I'm just guiding it along. Man, I'm not coming to you as a consultant. A consultant tells you all the things that you need to do. A coach helps you to get to where you want to go. With me, we're going to look back just a little bit because there are some things in our past that are causing some of the walls in our lives that we can't get over. to move on. And sometimes we need to tackle those, and we need to put those in a right place in our mind. And we need to deal with that and give it to the Lord. So I'm not coming to you as a consultant, telling you all the things. I'm coming to you as a coach to get you to where truly God wants you to be. And if you would love to work with a coach, or maybe find out more if you and I would work well together, man, reach out to me. Send me a message. Say, man, I just want to see what this is about. I'll give you a call. We'll talk for about 30 minutes, and we'll kind of figure out if this is a good fit for you. You know, I believe that the winning part of having a coach is this. You're going to get to where you want a lot faster than you would on your own. I mean, that's so true in my life with the coach that I have. I am where I am today in my business a lot faster because truly she's helping me along. I could not have done it on my own. The things that she knows and how she listens and how she's been guiding me is massive. And so I'm getting there a lot faster because of that coach. And same is true for you. And maybe I'm not the best fit for you. Man, I will. There's been some people I've talked to, I'm like, man, this person or this counselor would be a better fit for you. And that's the steps that I take because I want the best for you. And so if you'd like to work with me, like to see if it's a great fit, man, just send me a message. Let me know. Put in the comments, coach, and I would love to see if I can help you out. Or if you know somebody that you're like, man, I think this person needs a life coach who's a believer, and they need to help them to get out of their funk or get out of the situation that they're in, or help them to do whatever it may be, man, let me know. I'd love to reach out to them. We'll have them reach out to me. Man, thank you so much for watching this today. It truly is so much fun for me to get on here and go live every Thursday. And if I can do anything for you, please let me know. Have a great day.